When someone disrespects you, the temptation is to shrink, to soften yourself, to make yourself smaller just so you can fit into the space they've created for you. But lowering your standards never earns you real respect. It only teaches people that you will accept less than what you deserve.
Your standards are not just rules. They are the reflection of your values, your self-worth, and the vision you hold for your life. Every time you compromise them, you chip away at the foundation of your own power. Think about it.
When you bend too much to keep people around, when you tolerate behavior that hurts you, when you stay quiet just to avoid conflict, you are not protecting the relationship, you are betraying yourself. There is a difference between being flexible and being foolish. Flexibility means you adapt. When life calls for it, foolishness means you keep lowering the bar for people who have no intention of rising to meet you, and the truth is people will only rise to the level you demand. If you set the bar low, they'll stay low.
If you set it high and refuse to move it, only those worthy of your presence will remain. Lowering your standards doesn't make you more lovable, doesn't make you more desirable. It only makes you more tolerable to those who never intended to respect you in the first place.
You are not here to be tolerated. You are here to be valued. And if someone cannot meet your standards, let them walk, because the people who truly respect you will never ask you to lower them. Your standards are not a punishment for others. They are protection for you.
They are the boundary between your peace and their chaos, between your worth and their disregard, between who you are and who they want you to become. For their comfort, when you stand tall in your standards, you send a message without ever saying a word. I know who I am.
And I refuse to settle for less. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are gates to protect what's sacred within you. They are the invisible lines that define where you end and where someone else begins, and yet so many people feel guilty for drawing them. Why? Because they've been conditioned to believe that saying no makes them selfish, that choosing themselves makes them unkind, protecting their peace makes them difficult. But the truth is, boundaries are not cruelty. They are clarity. When you set a boundary, you are not punishing someone. You are teaching them how to exist in your space with respect. You are saying, this is what I will allow, this is what I will not tolerate, and those who love you, those who truly respect you, will honor it without question. The only people who get offended by your boundaries are the very ones who benefited from you having none. Too often people live exhausted lives, not because of what they are doing, but because of what they keep tolerating. They say yes when their souls is screaming no. They keep giving when their cup is empty. They let people take and take until resentment builds like a heavy stone in their chest. That weight is not from love, it's from the absence of boundaries. You must understand, saying no is a complete sentence.
It does not require an explanation, an apology, or a justification. When you say no, you are saying yes to yourself. You are saying yes to your peace, yes to your sanity, yes to your time, and yes to your worth. You cannot live a healthy, powerful, purposeful life without that yes.
Boundaries also reveal the strength of your self-respect. The moment you draw a line and enforce it, you are teaching people that access to you is a privilege, not a right. That privilege can be revoked the moment it is abused. This is not harshness. This is wisdom. This is self-preservation.
This is how you protect the best parts of you from being drained, disrespected, or diminished. People may call you cold, they may call you distant. They may even accuse you of changing. But the truth is, you're not becoming less, you're becoming whole.
You're no longer giving yourself away in pieces to people who cannot handle the fullness of you. Boundaries don't make you hard, they make you strong. Boundaries don't push away love, they make space for the right kind of love to enter. Boundaries don't mean you care less.
They mean you finally care enough about yourself to stop caring. What was never yours to hold is a strength in silence that words can never match. When someone disrespects, you mocks, you provokes, you, the natural instinct is to defend yourself, to argue, to make them understand your side.
But understand this riction gives them power. It gives them access to your emotions, to your energy, to your peace, and the moment you allow them to control the temperature of the room. Silence, however, does the opposite. Silence places you back in control. When you choose silence, you are not weak, you are wise. You are refusing to let someone else dictate your spirit. You are saying, don't need to explain myself, I don't need to prove myself, and I don't need to lower myself just to be heard, because silence carries a weight that arguments never can. It unsettles, it forces. Reflection leaves space for truth to reveal itself without your effort. Think about it. Arguments often spiral into chaos.
Words of twisted emotions are heightened, and suddenly you're left drained while the other person feels victorious. Just for pulling you into the storm. But when you remain silent, the storm has no fuel. The fire cannot spread without oxygen. Your silence suffocates their attempt to control you. Silence is also a mirror. It forces people to sit with themselves, to hear their own words echo back, to wrestle with the emptiness of their actions that is often more powerful than anything you could have said. People expect your anger, they expect your tears, expect your defensiveness. What they don't expect, what shakes them, is your calm refusal to engage. But silence is not just the absence of words. It is the presence of discipline. It is the deliberate choice to rise above the noise instead of drowning in it.
It takes strength to hold your tongue when every part of you wants to clap back. Takes power to walk away when staying would only cost you your peace. That kind of discipline builds a reputation without you ever lifting your voice.
A reputation of someone who cannot be moved by disrespect, who cannot be baited into drama, who refuses to hand their power over so cheaply. Silence doesn't mean you don't notice the disrespect. It doesn't mean you accept. It means you value yourself too much to get tangled in meaningless battles.
It means you'd rather invest your energy into growth, to healing, into creating, than waste it on trying to fix what will never change a world where everyone feels the need to react instantly. Silence becomes your greatest weapon.
There comes a moment when you realize that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone deserves the keys to your peace. Not everyone should have access to the deepest parts of you. Too often people confuse worth with excess. They think that because someone disrespects them, it somehow makes them less valuable. But hear this clearly: your worth does not decrease because someone failed to see it. Your value remains untouched. What needs to change is not who you are, but who you allow into your space. Removing excess is not about anger. It is not about revenge. It is not about teaching someone a lesson. It is about protecting your spirit. When a person shows you through their actions that they cannot handle your presence with respect, you do not beg them to change. You do not plead with them to see your value. You simply limit their access. The decision is not cruelty. It is self-respect. Think of your life like a home. Not everyone belongs in the living room. Not everyone should be allowed in the kitchen. And certainly not everyone has earned the right to enter your bedroom. Access should be earned through trust, loyalty, consistency, and respect. But when someone repeatedly slams the door, breaks the windows, or leaves dirt on
the floor, you don't remodel the house for them. You change the locks as freedom and understanding that you can love people from a distance. You can care about them. You can wish them well. You can even forgive them, but still deny them access to your heart, your mind, and your energy.
Because forgiveness does not require proximity, and peace does not require constant contact. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is step back and say, you no longer have the privilege of walking this close to me. Removing excess also forces people to confront themselves. When they can no longer reach you, when they can no longer drain you, when they no longer have the ability to tap into your time and your energy, they are left with nothing but the reflection of their own actions.
And often that silence, that distance, that locked door speaks louder than any confrontation ever could. Understand this: the people who deserve you will never put you in a position where you have to choose between your peace and their presence.
But those who take your kindness for granted, those who disrespect your boundaries, those who make you question your worth, they lose the privilege of closeness, and that is not a loss for you. It is a gain of peace, gain of clarity, a gain of space to welcome people who will treat you with the love and respect you deserve. Self-respect is the foundation of every strong, unshakable life.
It is the soil from which confidence grows, the ground on which your dignity stands, and the anchor that holds you steady. When people try to devalue you without self-respect, you drift into spaces where you are mistreated. You linger in relationships that drain you.
You settle for less than what you were created for, but when you are rooted in self-respect, you cannot be moved by the opinions of others, nor can you be persuaded to accept what does not align with your worth.
Saying rooted in self-respect means refusing to abandon yourself even when it would be easier to give, and means you not tolerate words that belittle you, actions that disregard you, or relationships that require you to betray your own values. It is not arrogance, it is alignment.
Alignment with your truth, your standards, your essence, because if you don't respect yourself, you invite others not to respect you. Peter, think of a tree, and a tree with shallow roots can be knocked over by a strong wind, but a tree with deep firm roots can withstand storms, floods, even droughts.
Till stand tall, your self-respect works the same way life will send storms. People will test you, disrespect you, try to shake you. But if your roots are deep, if your sense of worth is not dependent on their treatment of you, then nothing and no one can uproot you, staying rooted in self. Respect requires discipline, requires the discipline to say no when everything in you fears losing someone's approval, requires the discipline to walk away. When everything in you wants to hold on, even when you know it's hurting you, requires the discipline to protect your integrity, even if it costs you relationships, opportunities, or acceptance, because at the end of the day, keeping your self-respect is more valuable than keeping company that disrespects. Its self-respect also teaches others how to treat you. People learn how far they can go by watching what you allow. If you let someone cross your boundaries without consequence, they will do it again. If you let someone speak to you in ways that cut you down, they will continue.
If you stand firm, if you root yourself so deep lie in your worth, the disrespect finds no soil to grow, and then people will learn quickly. This is a person I cannot play with. This is a person who knows their value, and staying rooted does not mean being unkind.
Does not mean being hard or closed off. It means standing tall in who you are, even if that makes others uncomfortable. Means carrying yourself in a way that says, I do not need your validation to confirm my worth. It means living in such an alignment where with your own truth that whether people respect you or not, you never lose respect for yourself. Your energy is your life force. It is the invisible current that fuels your thoughts, your emotions, your creativity, and your peace. Yet too often people give it away freely to those who have not earned it, to those who drain, rather than uplift to those who consume, rather than contribute. Protecting your energy is not selfish.
It is survival. It is the difference between living a life of constant exhaustion and living a life of balance, clarity, and strength. Protecting your energy means becoming intentional about who and what you allow into your space. Not everyone deserves access to your mind.
Not every conversation deserves your response. Not every conflict deserves your attention. There are people who feed you, who inspire you, who add light to your days, and there are people who take, who pull, who bring nothing but negativity, chaos, and confusion.
You must learn to tell the difference, because every time you allow toxic energy into your life, it chips away at your focus, your confidence, and your joy. There will always be people who thrive on drama, who look for ways to provoke, who find satisfaction in pulling others down. Protecting your energy means refusing to play their game, means recognizing that not every battle deserves your sword and not every insult deserves your voice. Sometimes the greatest strength is not in fighting, but in withdrawing to preserve your peace by not letting their storm enter your spirit.
It's not just about people, it's also about the environments. You place yourself in the habits, you maintain the thoughts you entertain. If you wake up and feed yourself negativity, if you constantly surround yourself with gossip, with fear, with doubt, then your energy will reflect it. Protecting your energy requires guarding your mind as much as your space, is choosing carefully what you watch, what you listen to, what you consume, because what goes in will eventually come out. Protecting your energy also means honoring your rest.
So many people wear exhaustion like a badge of honor, as if running themselves into the ground is proof of strength. But true power comes from balance. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot shine from a burnt-out soul. Protecting your energy means giving yourself permission to pause, to courage to say, not today. When your spirit needs stillness, and finally protecting your energy is about trusting yourself enough to walk away from anything that costs you peace.
It's about being brave enough to release people, places, and habits that no longer serve your growth. It's about valuing your spirit so deeply that you refuse to trade it for approval, for comfort, or for temporary satisfaction, because your energy shapes your reality.
If it is constantly being drained, your life will reflect depletion. But if it is protected, nourished, and guarded, your life will reflect strength, clarity, and abundance. Respect is not something you chase, it is something you embody. And when you carry yourself with self-respect, when you protect your energy, you stand tall in your standards, you will notice something powerful. The people who are meant for you will rise to meet you. The ones who are not will simply fall away.
Handling people who don't respect you is not about fighting, proving, or convincing. It's about choosing silence over erection, choosing distance over chaos, choosing boundaries over guilt, above all choosing yourself every single time. Because at the end of the day, your peace, your dignity, your worth are not negotiable. You cannot control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. When you respond with self-respect, you teach the world exactly how you deserve to be treated without ever saying,